help it. I know you felt it. Green and white and green. Who are we, the Celtics? Who are we, the Celtics? Who are we, the Celtics?
All right, Celtics fans, we are back with another episode of Boston Celtics Game Day Recap. I'm your host, Guy DiPlacido, and the Celtics lose their 9-game winning streak, 113-98, to the Orlando Magic. Who else could it be? The Orlando Magic once again have the Celtics number. This was a game that we played without Marcus Smart, without Robert Williams, without Malcolm Brogdon. Jason Tatum missed some time in the third quarter with an apparent rib injury. Derek White looked like he got hurt in this one, missed some good minutes in the second quarter as well. But that's where we stand. Really no excuses. This is not a very good Orlando Magic team. However, they seem to have the Celtics figured out. So at this point, gonna follow today's podcast, same as usual, run through player of the game, run through some of the highs, some of the lows, and then wrap up kind of talking about the Eastern Conference and the standings and all of that. But to get things started here, I don't really know who to give player of the game to. I guess Jason Tatum. Could be Sam Hauser, I guess. I thought he played pretty well. But honestly, this wasn't a game where too many people were very efficient, were very good. Jason Tatum was fine in this, 26 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. Overall, looking at the numbers, solid game. Overall, when he got hurt, you could very clearly see a drop-off. And it did change when he came back into the game, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough because honestly, as soon as he got into the game, it helped for the first 2 minutes, and then the Magic went on a huge run. And the Celtics offense completely disappeared. So I don't know. Jason Tatum, fine night. Jaylen Brown, fine night. Struggled with the turnovers again in this one. But overall, you look at the stats, similar to Jason Tatum. They're great. 26 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal. Again, it's just the 5 turnovers that were really a killer for JB. Overall, he shot the ball well, too. 5-11 from 3, one of his better 3-point shooting nights. Again, not enough. But as far as some of the bench guys go, we had some guys, kind of step up, play decent minutes in this one. I talked about Derek White, obviously not a bench guy, but once we have our normal starting lineup, he will be. 11 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal. Did have 2 blocks in this one. Honestly, this was one of the better performances, I would say, as far as the team goes. Derek White defensively continues to be an absolute savage. Eddie House talked about it on the broadcast for those that are in New England and heard the local stream. He's one of the best shot blocking guards I've ever seen. And this is coming from Eddie House. I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying the exact same thing. He had 2 more in this one today, and they were just absolutely beautiful blocks. Like at the rim. One of them was on Mo Wagner, who, again, former Celtic, loved doing that against him. And then he had a huge block on Cole Anthony in transition late in the game where it really mattered. The Celtics were trying to battle back, and it was a huge stop at the time. And then immediately after that, he kicks out to Jason Tatum for a 3. So it's a 5-point swing all in Derek White, basically, finding Jason Tatum wide open. Sucked Tatum's defender in because he drove into the lane. So there was a lot of points in today's game where Derek White looked really good. But he also missed some time. Like he played 9 minutes going into halftime because of, it looked like a neck injury. He went up and I don't know, it didn't really look like he got hit in the neck, but he fell hard and kind of just stayed there. Like didn't really get back on defense, which is not like Derek White whatsoever. And they took him out. And at the end of the half, he had 9 minutes played, which is not exactly what you want when you're missing Marcus Smart and Malcolm Brogdon. So we relied pretty heavily on Peyton Pritchard. We saw some early Sam Hauser minutes in this one as well. Both of them played fine. Sam Hauser, actually, this was the best Sam Hauser game that we have seen in, 2 months. So solid minutes for him, 13 points, 2 rebounds, an assist, a block. Pretty good block, actually, as well. But the shooting was the difference, right? We've talked about his impact and not being the best defender on the team by far. Uh, but his impact is from beyond the arc. And tonight he actually contributed where we haven't really seen that much recently. He was 5-9 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3. So finally, the threes start to fall for Sam Hauser. And it allowed him to stay out on the court a little bit longer than you would normally see. Again, obviously, it's a shortened roster. You need these minutes from Sam Hauser in order to fully function as a team. But overall, it was fine. Like there again, I'm saying fine because that's really all it is. This isn't a game where the Celtics really went out and played extraordinarily well. But they had guys that played fine. You know, Peyton Pritchard's another one. He played 31 minutes in this, 5 points, 4 rebounds, 1 of 4 from 3. Really wasn't a very good night. He got guys involved. The energy was there. Defensively, he was fine. That should be the title of this podcast. Celtics played fine, lost to the Magic, who didn't play fine. The Magic were doing absolutely everything, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Honestly, the one thing that is super surprising in this loss is the fact that the one thing that we did really well, not fine, is 3-point shooting. We shot 39% on 46 attempts. So a lot of 3-point attempts, and we shot really well. So it's super surprising to look up at the box score and see the Celtics scoring 98 points because the 3-point shot was falling. Like when we're shooting close to 40%, that should be an easy win most nights. Wasn't tonight. And it's weird because we only took 83 shots. We'll talk about why in a little bit, but overall, it's just kind of it's an ugly game. It's not the style of basketball the Celtics have been playing the last 9 games, but sort of to be expected. Every good run, great run, usually ends in a disaster game. And that's pretty much what we saw today. But honestly, it was kind of a culmination of everything. But I want to talk about it. Let's dive into some of the negatives. Before we dive into that, do you want to give a little bit of time to our sponsors here? This podcast is brought to you by Hopewell Hemp Farms. Hopewell Hemp Farms is your only source for the highest quality American-grown hemp products. If you're like me and love to be active, whether that's playing in an adult softball or basketball league, or your level of activity is limited to yard work, one thing is for certain. As you get older, joints start to hurt. Well, I turn to Hopewell Hemp Farms Body Butter to relax those joints and their amazing tinctures to help me fall asleep. Check them out at hopewellhempfarms.com today and stock your nightstand the only way I know how. Looking for an agent to help you buy or sell real estate? George Dimas at PD Properties is the agent for you. Sell now for a flat 3% commission on the sales price. PD Properties utilizes the most current marketing techniques and strive to put more money in your pocket. If you're looking to buy, call now and George will be with you every step of the way until you find a property you're able to call home. Serving the North Shore and beyond, call George Dimas with PD Properties today at 781-913-2290. That's 781-913-2290. The NFL playoff picture is locked in, and my go-to place for wild card round action is DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. To kick off the road to Super Bowl 57, new customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in free bets instantly. Plus, all new and existing customers can get a no-sweat bet each day of the wild card round. This weekend, just place any NFL bet of your choice, and if it loses, you'll get a free bet back up to $10. Action so good, why bet NFL playoffs anywhere else? Guys, it could not get easier. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TBPN, and new customers can bet $5 on the NFL and get $200 in free bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code TBPN.
Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
All right, so want to talk through some of the negatives. Got a lot of people talking about the referees in this one. It's not a factor. This is not the reason that the Celtics lost. There was a massive discrepancy in personal fouls, but honestly, it was very much super lazy defense. There was absolutely tier deep in this one. Again, it's a game where Robert Williams not playing. So you're going to see a drop off in that automatically, right? But in this one, nobody stepped up. Lou Cornett played 15 minutes. We actually saw some Capangeli minutes in this one. Didn't really do much there. But honestly, the interior defense was non-existent. This Magic team got absolutely everything that they wanted going to the rim. And a huge discrepancy with points in the paint as well. The Magic just were walking into the lane and getting whatever they wanted. We got outscored 54-32 with points in the paint. Now, I know Robert Williams is super injury prone, and you can't really count on him being there all the time, but that's exactly what you're running up against. This was a game where you're down 3 starters, and then Jason Tatum and Derek White both got hurt in this game and missed time. They still played a good amount of minutes, but they did not play to their fullest capability in this one. And you can't use injuries as an excuse all of the time. Not going to say that, but honestly, this Orlando Magic team, regardless of it, even last time we played them, they played us really well 2 straight games. Eddie House went on live TV and talked about the Magic not being a good team, not being playoff contenders, having a bunch of good guys that do not mesh well. And the Magic have done everything they can to shut him up. And I'm not going to say it's not funny, because it kind of is. Like, this Magic team shows up and plays against the Celtics really well. We've got 13 losses on the season. 3 of them are to the Orlando Magic. It's ridiculous, frankly. But that's where we stand. This is a game that was really ran by the Magic. Despite the Celtics ineptitude of playing at a high level, they turned the ball over 1 million times. They were not super aggressive getting to the rim. They still had a chance in this one. We fell down by 14 points, 15 points. We battled back. We got to within 2. We were in this game. It's several times. There were a couple of points where the Celtics went on a massive run, and we even had the lead at one point during this game, a couple points during this game. So this is very much a game that just slipped out of the Celtics' hands, and it all boils down to the fact that they just could not control the ball, and they couldn't defend. That's it. We had 18 turnovers tonight. Sean Grandy talked about it on the broadcast. 17 is that magic number. Very rarely does this team win a game when they turn the ball over more than 17 times. Very few teams in the league do, but the Celtics have gotten better with the turnovers. Wasn't the case tonight. And credit to the Orlando Magic. This is very similar to the last 2 games that we've played. This is a team that will take advantage of those turnovers. They had 19 points off the turnovers. They had 24 fast break points. That's another thing the Celtics just failed to do. We only turned them over 11 times. We had 6 fast break points. We just didn't take advantage, and we didn't run. And you can credit that to no Marcus Smart, because he's usually the guy that does that for the Celtics. But you need to have other guys step up. You need to have other guys that are trying to push the pace. This is an extremely young, athletic, big Orlando Magic team. So they'll absolutely take advantage of you in the fast break, in transition. There was a point in that second quarter and in the third quarter where the Celtics really stopped the Magic from getting out in transition. We focused on the half-court offense, and we held the Magic. We played them really well in that little span of time, but it wasn't enough because we didn't do it throughout the remainder of the game. We let up. Defensively, this was a terrible, terrible game. Again, and it stems with a lot of injuries, but you also have a lot of very capable defenders on this team. Very capable defenders. Al Horford, very good defender. Grant Williams, very good defender. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, good defenders. Derek White, great defender. Right? So you have a lot of guys still on this team that can defend at a very high level. They weren't connected today at all. They didn't stop the Magic from getting out in transition. They didn't stop the Magic from getting to the rim over and over. So it's a tough loss because you know what they're capable of doing. They just didn't do it tonight. And it's unfortunate. The other last thing that I want to talk about is Grant here. And it's not even that Grant played a absolutely horrendous game, but it was not good. It was not good. 4 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and a block. Those numbers, fine, right? Just like the rest of the game, fine. The thing that absolutely drove me nuts today was 2 illegal screens, and those were 2 of his 5 fouls in this one. After every single foul, Grant Williams is sitting there complaining his ass off. I do not understand how they did not give him a technical tonight. Do not understand how they didn't give him a technical in this one. So really, you got to clean it up. You got to clean it up. Everybody's tweeting about it too. Like, superstars get calls. All-stars get calls. Like, top tier, top 25 players get calls. Grant Williams is none of those. He should not be complaining to the ref after every single play because he's not a superstar. He's not even a starter on this team. And I'm not saying he's not good enough to be a starter somewhere else, but he is not a star in this NBA. He does not need to be complaining constantly. Honestly, Jason Tatum doesn't need to complain as much as he complains. And Grant Williams complains more than Tatum. So it just needs to stop. Because the games where this happens and he goes out there and he plays like this, that's when the Celtics just seem to fall apart. I don't know if there's any actual validity to that statement, but in the game where Grant Williams is constantly complaining, getting in foul trouble, I can't imagine the Celtics win-loss record is positive. So it's got to be cleaned up. But that's where we're going to wrap things up for today. This was an ugly game. Again, Orlando Magic 113-98. The Celtics lose their 9-game win streak because of that. The Milwaukee Bucks absolutely destroyed the Pistons in this one. And Philadelphia is on a tear. So right now, Celtics still remain in that top spot, still first place, still have the best record in the entire NBA, including Western Conference. Right now, our lead dwindles down to 4. I know dwindling down to 4 isn't really a terrible thing to say, but that's where we stand. Overall, shit game, but you got to start a new winning streak now. We play again tomorrow night, so we've got a back-to-back. Hopefully, we see Time Lord back, because it's very likely Al Horford will not play. So it looks like we're going to get another Blake Griffin start, potentially. I don't know if Malcolm Brogdon's personal reason that he missed today's game with is also extending into tomorrow. It is a road trip. It's not like they're moving anywhere. They're staying in Florida for both games. So my guess is that he will also not be there. So hopefully you get Robert Williams back, because if you're down, Al Horford and Robert Williams and Malcolm Brogdon and Smart, it's going to be a really tough game, because this Miami Heat team, regardless of what their record is, 26-22, 6th place in the Eastern Conference, it's a team that'll battle you every single time. So it's going to be another tough game. Very tough game. That's where we're going to wrap things up. If you haven't done so already, guys, make sure to follow me on Twitter at NBA Celtics Guy. Make sure to join our Facebook page, Boston Celtics Till I Die, and our YouTube page, Boston Celtics Game Day Recap. And if you haven't done so already, most important thing to do, make sure to rate and review the podcast. Did get another couple of reviews the other day. Greatly appreciate you guys. Have a great night, Celtics fans. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, you couldn't help it. I know you felt it. Green and white and green. Who are we, the Celtics?